During the Cold War, while the world obsessed over nuclear missiles, spy aircraft, and superpower standoffs, there was another secret arms race taking place. A hunt for the perfect covert weapon. Intelligence agencies needed guns that were compact, reliable, simple to maintain, and quiet enough to use in shadow operations. Most countries built their own versions. The United States experimented endlessly. The Soviets focused on suppressed rifles. But the weapon that the CIA trusted most didn't come from either superpower. It came from a neutral nation, a country that prided itself on staying out of global conflict, yet somehow produced one of the most effective submachine guns of the entire Cold War. This was the Swedish K, officially the Carl Gustaf M45, a weapon so rugged, so dependable, and so perfectly suited for clandestine warfare that it became a favorite of American intelligence officers, Navy SEALs, special forces teams, and anti-communist guerrillas around the world. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't modern, it wasn't even particularly fast-firing, but it worked every single time, in every single environment. The story begins in the late 1940s, when Sweden sought a new submachine gun to replace aging wartime designs. Their engineers studied weapons from across Europe and focused on three qualities: simplicity, reliability, and ease of mass production. The result was a weapon crafted from stamped steel, with almost no complex machining. It looked crude, but that was the point. A soldier could drop it in mud, sand, snow, or water, and it would continue to function with almost no maintenance. The design had so few moving parts that even poorly trained irregular fighters could learn to use it in minutes. Despite its plain appearance, the Swedish K had some unique strengths. Its open bolt design ran smoothly even under extreme stress. Its magazines were robust and fed reliably, avoiding the infamous jamming issues that plagued weapons like the British Sten, and its slow rate of fire, around 600 rounds per minute, allowed controlled bursts, improving accuracy and conserving ammunition. These characteristics made it ideal for covert forces who might need to fire short, quiet bursts in close quarters without attracting attention. When the CIA discovered the Swedish K, it didn't take long for the weapon to become one of the agency's favorites. American operatives valued tools that would never let them down, especially in missions where failure meant death or capture. The Swedish K became the go-to submachine gun for paramilitary operations, particularly in the early days of the Vietnam War. While the US military relied on weapons like the M3 grease gun and eventually the M16, CIA teams operating in the shadows carried the Swedish K. Navy SEALs also adopted the weapon, especially during riverine and jungle operations. In the humid swamps and dense forests of Southeast Asia, many American guns struggled with corrosion, jamming, and dirt. The Swedish K simply didn't care. It fired in rain, mud, and even after being submerged. Operators famously tested it by dragging it through rice paddies or filling it with sand, and it still worked. In environments where reliability was literally a matter of life and death, the K-gun earned a reputation for unfailing performance. Part of its success came from the minimalist design. The gun had almost no external features that could snag or break. The tubular receiver, simple stock, and straightforward sights kept it light and easy to maneuver. When suppressed versions were used, especially those fitted with improvised silencers, the Swedish K became a remarkably quiet weapon for close-quarters ambushes and raids. While not as silent as specialized suppressed guns, it was quiet enough for the kind of operations where speed and shock were more important than absolute stealth. The weapon also had political advantages. Because Sweden was neutral, the gun could be acquired discreetly without the diplomatic complications that came with American or Soviet weapons. This made it ideal for arming proxy forces, resistance groups, and irregular militias during the numerous covert conflicts of the Cold War. The Swedish K found its way into the hands of Cuban exiles during the Bay of Pigs invasion, Laotian guerrillas resisting communist forces, and special units operating behind enemy lines. But its success created a problem. When Sweden refused to supply more weapons due to concerns about the Vietnam War, the United States attempted to produce its own copy, the Smith & Wesson MA-76. Although decent, it never matched the quality and reliability of the Swedish original. Operators immediately noticed the difference. The M76 overheated more quickly, suffered more jams, and lacked the smoothness of the M45. Once again, the original proved superior, and the Swedish K became a prized possession for those who could still acquire one. As the Cold War progressed, the weapon remained in service with various special forces units around the world. Some versions were modified for underwater use, others were fitted with extended magazines or specialized suppressors, but the core design stayed the same. Its reputation endured because it embodied the one trait operators valued above all else: absolute dependability. The Swedish K never became a mainstream headline weapon. It didn't appear in massive battles or dominate global arms markets. Instead, it lived in the margins, in black operations, secret missions, and military units that required equipment designed for the harshest possible conditions. The gun became a legend not because of revolutionary technology, but because it did its job flawlessly without attracting attention. It represented the quiet, unglamorous side of Cold War conflict, where victories were often measured in missions completed and casualties avoided rather than public displays of firepower. Even today, the Swedish K is admired by collectors, historians, and special forces veterans. Many still describe it as one of the most reliable submachine guns ever built. Its minimalist design, robust construction, and proven track record make it a symbol of a bygone era, a time when simplicity, reliability, and practical engineering meant more than advanced features or futuristic aesthetics. In the end, the Swedish K stands as a reminder that in covert warfare, the best weapon is not always the most modern, the most powerful, or the most sophisticated. Sometimes the best weapon is the one that fires every time the operator pulls the trigger. And in that role, the Swedish K was unmatched.